You're watching News Channel 11 in your corner at 5.
When Jackie and Robert came in with the casket, Jackie still had blood on her dress.
50 years ago, a Kingsport man found himself standing in the footsteps of history. Tonight, he shares his experience as one of the chosen few to stand guard over President John F. Kennedy's casket. Ask almost anyone who was alive 50 years ago today, and they could tell you exactly where they were, what they were doing when they learned about the assassination of an American president, John F. Kennedy. Good evening, I'm Josh Smith.
And I'm Sarah Diamond. For a Kingsport man, the death of President Kennedy meant a somber assignment. He stood guard over the body of one of the nation's most beloved leaders.
Jim McClellan shared his story with News Channel 11's David McAvoy.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I think I probably turned white.
November 22nd, 1963.
Really a lump in your throat. You didn't know what to think. You just couldn't believe that the president was shot.
Jim McClellan was 26 years old, a member of the Air Force Honor Guard stationed at Bolling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C.
Come across the loudspeaker on the base for all of us to report back.
McClellan and 19 other men were assigned the duty of standing guard over President John F. Kennedy's body. He was at the White House when JFK's family arrived from Dallas with the casket.
When Jackie and Robert came in with the casket, Jackie still had blood on her dress. I heard once Jackie said something to Robert, and then Robert said, "The casket will stay closed."
For the next 3 days, McClellan got very little sleep, working 15 to 30-minute shifts at the footsteps of history.
You couldn't blink. You couldn't. If you blinked, you didn't have another shift. You could let the tears fall down, but you couldn't wipe them. And
you had tears while you were standing?
Oh, I had tears all the time.
On duty for perhaps the most poignant moment of that somber week, McClellan was just a few feet away when 3-year-old John Jr. rendered a salute to his slain father's casket.
That is one of probably the most saddest part of that funeral. The Navy guy that stood across from me, the tears coming out of his eyes looked like a water faucet. And all of us had tears in our eyes.
In Kingsport, David McAvoy, News Channel 11 in your corner.
McClellan left the Honor Guard shortly after President Kennedy's funeral. He then served a tour of duty in Vietnam. He returned to the Honor Guard a few years later, but said it was never the same after President Kennedy's funeral.